Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Added Time, our weekly Fantasy Premier League football podcast. I'm entering because had Mike not taken -8, he might have beaten me this week. But it was a close call nevertheless. And had I gone with my original Cole Palmer captain, this would be a very different podcast today, Mike.
We even have a YouTube short. No, a short on YouTube. This guy Nathan is saying to everybody in the world, Captain Cole Palmer, and he doesn't Captain Cole. No, there's this podcast I listen to. It's called Added Time FPL. The guy knows what he's talking about. You should listen to him.
But he doesn't listen to himself.
No, he does apparently.
And a big move from you to bring in Doku. What a move that was. I figured you assumed Foden might not play, so I'll put in Doku. Or what was your plan there?
So because I knew that they just played midweek against City and Kevin De Bruyne didn't play and Foden came off in the 88th minute with a slight injury, I assumed Foden wasn't going to play. But I couldn't bring myself to just bring in KDB because there was a good chance Pep might not play him. He might play him. He could have scored a hat-trick, could not have. So I brought in Doku as a sort of a balance because I knew between KDB, Haaland, and Doku, there was going to be points. I just didn't know where.
Yeah,
I couldn't pinpoint it. So I had all three. And that's why it worked, because the points came from Doku rather than KDB. Unfortunately for me, I didn't listen to you either, and I captained KDB, which cost me a lot. And even if I had captained Haaland, I would have maybe at least pulled ahead of you slightly. Like, not ahead of you, but I mean, it would have got those extra 10 points I needed. Unfortunately, I didn't either, and Palmer popped off, which means red arrows for anyone who didn't captain him.
Pretty much. So for everyone out there that did captain him, for everyone out there that did listen to the short, you are welcome. I need to start listening to myself. But before we get onto this captain train, we also got to say that Erling Haaland wasn't a complete dud of a captain at the end of the day. He managed to get a goal and an assist. So as things go, very good captain choice. Just in the game when Cole Palmer scores 4 goals and gets 2 assists, it wasn't the best option.
In a game where Saka blanked and Salah blanked and Son blanked, and KDB blanked, Palmer was obviously.
I had a bone to pick with you. I messaged you, I think it was 2 nights ago, because I was so annoyed because Lewis and Edison were on track to getting me a clean sheet. I made the play to bring in Lewis. It was fine. It was all dandy and it was looking great. KDB gets subbed off in the 80th minute. And this is probably something that not many people know, because I kind of found this out as well. KDB gets subbed off in the 80th minute. Being a midfielder, he gets clean sheets points. In the 80th minute of the game, they didn't concede yet. No one scored. So it was still a clean sheet for KDB. He got subbed off, so he got the clean sheet points. Same for was it Ben White? He also got subbed off for you, and he kept the clean sheet before they conceded. So for those of you that don't know, if your player makes it past 60 minutes, you get 2 points for him playing. And if he gets subbed off while there's still a clean sheet after those 60 minutes, he keeps the clean sheet. It's so unfair. But I mean, the game's a game. So, I mean, kudos to your Ben White pick. It paid off in the end, I suppose. You're double up on Arsenal. But who would have seen Arsenal getting thrashed, though? 2-0 to Villa.
No one. That's why at least White got points. And I don't even know, last week, not just FPL, football in general, like, what the stuff? Like what's the stuff? Like Arsenal, okay, first Liverpool lose, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, cool, Arsenal, you got this now. All you got to do is draw, win, maintain some. No, lose.
And then comes City scoring 5-1 and just steamrolling their way back.
Which, in my opinion, I believe that the title race is over now. I don't see City losing the game.
Yeah.
And before Liverpool's loss, I was talking to one of my friends, Aviation, and I said to him, "Listen, if you're going to ask me who's going to win the Premier League, it's City, then Arsenal, and Liverpool coming third."
Yeah.
That was my prediction before this weekend, which is now looking even more certain. So
well, There you go. Mike's Magic Mike.
Just a pause on English Premier League soccer. Barca got knocked out of Champions League.
I was going to say, do you think Arsenal go through tonight? But now that let's start with yesterday's game. I actually watched that game. Crazy game. Absolutely crazy. But it also just made me it was a bit sad because it sobered me up to make me realize how far away Chelsea are from being at that level again, because the quality of football was incredible. PSG played phenomenally. Those goals from Dembele and Mbappe is crazy.
You know what's sad though? We could have afforded Mbappe the way we threw money around this last season and a half.
It's true. It's true. We could have probably bought half of that PSG team with the money that we've thrown around over the last 3 years.
I really need to play some betting side things because my brackets, because I did the Champions League bracket and my predictions to go through were I probably had Atletico going through over Dortmund, so I didn't get that one right. But I have Bayern beating Arsenal because I believe Arsenal will have their concentration split.
There's a meme going around calling Mikyle Raju the bottle job. How does it feel? Yeah.
But also, I had PSG beating Barca because for two reasons. Number one, Barca is not in a good place, and two, PSG has all the money to push themselves all the way through to the final. So I called the final of Bayern versus PSG.
Oh, very nice.
That's my final prediction. And so far so good. All we need now is Harry Kane to break his curse and get to the final.
I have a German friend who's hoping that Bayern go through so he can watch Madrid versus Bayern at the Munich stadium. He supports Madrid, which is weird. But anyway, I was chatting to him before the game yesterday, and I was like, I think Dortmund can win just because I feel like Dortmund really needs something for them because they keep choking. And I'm glad they got through. It was a very good game there as well. I mean,
you can go watch the Champions League final. It's there by you.
I can actually. I just take a quick train. And oh yeah, I could. But yeah, not for Champions League because Chelsea not in it. Yeah. One more controversial topic before we get back into FPL. The situation that happened between Jackson and Palmer and Madueke. Pochettino did address it, so good job to him. But what do you think? Like, you shouldn't be arguing over that because Palmer's been taking penalties since forever.
I think if Madueke wasn't involved, if he wasn't on the field, or if there wasn't a fight because Madueke and Jackson couldn't agree, Palmer had to take the penalty, right? But if Madueke wasn't there, I actually would have liked Palmer to give it to Jackson because I feel like Jackson on one goal, scoring a penalty for his second goal, may have meant he could have got a hat-trick as well. And I honestly believe that Jackson being in goal-scoring form will benefit Chelsea more than Madueke being in goal-scoring form, or even Cole Palmer having one more goal. However, at the end of the day, what's right was Cole Palmer took the penalty, and he still took the penalty. And he
scored.
And let's be honest, let's be real here. How many players were standing to pull the ball away from Cole Palmer in the dying minutes of extra time against Man United to take the penalty to win the game? Not a
single person. Yeah.
Okay? Because it's his responsibility. So if no one's going to stand up, no one's going to stand up when it counts, like big time, then he has a right to say.
When it's easy, yeah.
Yeah, he has a right to say, this is my job. I did it then and I'll do it now.
I also think that he's going for Golden Boot because he's equal with Haaland now on goals. He's sitting at 20. So
realistically, I don't know if that's going to happen. He shouldn't really be there. It's a weird place to be.
People will say it's because of all the penalties though. I mean, fair play. Most of them are. But I do want to say someone that's not been scoring penalties but scoring a lot of goals is Ollie Watkins. He's also had a really good run this season, and maybe we slept on him because for the last 2 weeks he's been hauling some points. Is it time to bring him back?
Well, here's the thing: he didn't have the double game week fixture, so we took Watkins out.
Yeah.
Not only that, he was carrying a slight knock 3 game weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he didn't have the double game week fixture this week. So both those factors, resulted in him being taken out of most teams. So, and then he goes on to keep scoring points and makes Arsenal fall off a tree. So it is a sad thing, but unfortunately the theme for this game week is going to be is going to be making sacrifices.
Yeah.
Like you might have to put Palmer on your bench because he's one of the best players. But if you have Palmer versus Arsenal away, are you going to put him in your team over someone who's got a double game week? Like,
it's very unlikely that Cole Palmer scores another 26 points against Arsenal.
It's just not the type of fixture that you want Cole Palmer. That being said, yes, can he hurt you? Of course he can. But at the same time,
you need to go with the probability.
This is the game week where you kind of have to go have a couple of players, but probably on your bench who are powerful players. And the same thing with Watkins. It's a case of, are there some options for double game weeks? And honestly, they are. We've got Cunha, we've got Solanke, and we've got Darwin all playing double game weeks. And all of those players are in somewhat form, not necessarily Darwin, but he has the potential to score big always.
Yeah. And you can just captain him next week when Chelsea have their double game week. So it's a win-win. Speaking of double game weeks, I am going to be playing my free hit this week. So that's going to be an interesting move for the table because I know you've already played yours. And based on what you've been setting up your team for to try and get as many players in for double game week, based on what I've been doing, obviously I've been playing for 35, 36 because I'm going to be playing my free hit now. So I'll mention quickly my 2 transfers because I had some transfers that I made early for 35, and I took out Saka and I took out Lewis to bring in Dan Burn from Newcastle and to bring in Maddison from Spurs because of the double game week for next week. But I will free hit Saka back in for this week. So that would be that's my plan for that week. I can run off the names just so you guys can have an idea. We won't put it on screen, but just so you have an idea, you can give me thoughts on what do you think, Mike, as well. Just give me an idea. But I've gone with Alisson in goal, Liverpool goalkeeper. I'm pretty sure that's stock standard, what most people would do. What do you think?
Yeah. No, he's good. I think only trouble I have with that is there are lots of different Liverpool assets you can have, but with Bradley's injury, it probably puts Alisson up there, and Hurn not starting. It puts Alisson up there. Yeah. But I have another goalkeeper, but I'll talk to you afterwards about that.
My bench goalkeeper, now that we're on this, is Pickford.
He's recovering from 6-0.
Yeah, no, I know.
Clown-like performance.
But he's there. I got Gabriel and Van Dijk as the main defenders with Munoz from Crystal Palace. I think Crystal Palace got thrashed enough, and I think they can keep a clean sheet. And Munoz is playing West Ham at home and Newcastle. It's just for the points. I have got Nouri from Wolves on my bench and Sensei from Bournemouth as well. I might start Sensei over Munoz, but the 2 home fixtures for Palace is hard to turn against. Saka, obviously. And I've paired him up with the old Chelsea man, Kai Havertz. I've doubled up on Arsenal and I've went Havertz. Havertz has been going under the radar, let's be fair. He's been scoring goals for them. So he might be worth a shout this week. I've got your pick earlier in the season, Eze from Crystal Palace. And then my captain is Salah. Hopefully he does not hurt me again. He can score some points this week. Solanke and Cunha up front with Mateta from Crystal Palace as well. So that's what my team's looking at this week. So everyone's got a double game week. Whether I don't feel like I'm going to haul though. I don't know. I have this weird feeling that I'm looking at this team. I'm thinking, I'll probably get points for Havertz and Salah and then maybe Cunha. But then that's it. I don't know.
Yeah. The problem is that, as Cole Palmer just showed, a single game week player can outscore a double game week player.
Yeah.
Easily. Yep. And so, like, not going in with no City players, like, when City are now ahead and City have confidence,
it's risky.
However, the benefit is City are playing today against Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Then they're playing on Saturday versus Chelsea in the FA Cup semi.
Yeah.
And then they're still playing Brighton on Thursday next week. So even though they do have a while to recover, the problem is that that's 2 games before they play Brighton. Who knows what squad is turning up against Brighton? Either Haaland, Doku, De Bruyne, I don't know. You can only have to wait until after Saturday to even consider what that team is. By then it's too late. So I understand why you might not go with no City players. They just are the type of players that could hurt you.
Yeah.
Doku could go on to hurt you again.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because I'll bring him in and he doesn't, and he blanks. Because I did that like 6 weeks ago. Yeah.
Goalkeeper wise, I was thinking I like your Allison pick. However, I feel like Allison, I'd rather double up on Arsenal defensive. Even though they hurt us this last week, I still think Arsenal Arsenal as a defensive duo versus a Liverpool defensive duo is better, because Liverpool as an attacking duo is better than Arsenal as an attacking duo. What I mean by that is Salah Diaz better than Saka Havertz? I think so.
Probably.
And is Gabriel White better than Alisson Van Dijk? Yeah, I think so. So for me, I would swap it around that way.
Double midfield, Liverpool, double defense, Arsenal.
Because I don't really trust Liverpool's defense as much as I trust Arsenal's defense. Like unless they blipped last week, they've actually done really well. But then again, Arsenal are playing Chelsea and Cole Palmer, so
man can cook. I'm glad he's in his form, and I hope it carries through to the weekend, because the world of English football will be supporting Chelsea on Saturday. That's a guarantee, unless you're a Manchester City fan.
And for those playing your free hit, there's different schools of thought on that. But mine is normally, it's not you play your full hit because you want every player to score well in 2 games. You're playing a probability game here. That over 2 games, there's more chances to score a goal. There's more chances to keep a clean sheet. There's more chances to get an assist. So you are hoping your player pops off in 1 game. If he pops off in 2 games,
you're lucky.
Great.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't pop off in 2 games and he pops off in 1, you've made the right call. And that's why it's okay to have a player playing Chelsea like Ben White and Gabriel, because you're hoping that over 2 games, they get the clean sheet against Wolves. Maybe they could draw against Chelsea. However, that being said, I understand why you went with Liverpool over Arsenal, because you were playing Cunha as well. So you put your eggs in that one basket. So what's the point of playing Cunha and hoping he scores against Arsenal, then you're playing White and Gabriel and hoping they clean sheet against Wolves, right?
Yeah.
You're cancelling out your double pick by doing that.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting, but again, it's also the probability.
It depends which channel of you want to go. Like, you can't go both. Like you say, you cancel each other out. If I go Cunha and double up on Arsenal, there's no point, because what am I doing? So yeah, it's all about what you want to do. Pivoting.
What
quickly.
about?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, you go.
I was going to ask you about captains, because it's a big one.
I was about to say pivoting to captains.
Yeah.
Look at us, same wavelength. So at the moment, I've got mine set on Salah. He's got 2 good fixtures, but they're away from home. So I wouldn't say he's the obvious captain choice. I don't know what you think.
I think Salah is bound to leave the Premier League at the end of the season with Hurn. And in my mind, just knowing the history of FPL, the history of Salah, his poor form recently, I feel like I would regret not captaining Salah on one of his last double game weeks.
Yeah. Because
this is it.
He hauls, it's written in the stars.
he could easily blank in both his games. And yes, they're away games, but Salah has been pedigree for the last couple of years for FPL. Like, he's been a staple. He's had some big hauls against weaker teams. He's hurt us this year when he should have hauled against weak teams, and he's just blanked. But I put my faith in, if of all players, even with he's got the easier fixtures away, I still rate. And also think that Liverpool have something to play for there, right? Especially after tomorrow, once they deal with Atalanta, whether for the good or bad of them, they'll be way more focused on the Premier League.
Yeah.
And I think Salah is the one that's going to really go, you know what? It's my last time to shine. I'm going to do it. Yeah. Even if he plays in one of those games, there's a haul waiting there somewhere. Yeah. I don't think it's against Everton. I'd say Fulham maybe, because Everton at home are better than they are away, as they proved against Chelsea, which I should have really captained Cole Palmer just on that evidence, because I firmly know Sean Dyche is good and he will close you out, or he will defend heavy at home.
Yeah.
Away from home, Sean Dyche, in my memory, especially even with Burnley, had a habit of just being the whooping boys away from home when they played. Like he was tight at home, and he was kind of like he knew we couldn't do it away from home, and it's the same thing with Everton.
The only other player I could argue for captaincy would be Solanke. Just playing against Villa and Wolves. Villa surprisingly kept a clean sheet against Arsenal. They played really well, but I mean, I wouldn't really say anyone else would be quite a strong contender for captaincy. You could be Rogue and Captain Van Dijk, but I think between those two, most likely, I would say. What do you think?
There are some people bringing in Trent Alexander-Arnold for Bradley's injury, meaning Trent will play both games, meaning Trent becomes a captain option as well. But again, I think if there's anyone I trust moving forward for this double game week in a forward position, scoring goals, Salah's the one. Saka, I guess, has an outside chance. But I think Saka and Arsenal will be more disciplined than Liverpool.
Yeah.
Liverpool will play like a team that has nothing to lose. Because Klopp is going, Salah probably going, and they're already out of most things. They got their one trophy, and really, they're just out there to end this with a bang.
Entertain us.
Yeah. Because that's what Klopp's done. I was going to say with goalkeeper-wise earlier, one goalkeeper I am keeping my eye on for the double game week fixture is Neto. Because Bournemouth have been playing well defensively. They could keep some clean sheets in even those away games. And I was trying to decide on how to fix my Kelleher mistake. And Neto might be the best way for me to fix that. Because I do want as many Liverpool players as possible. And having Kelleher on not starting and benching doesn't really help that.
Yeah. Well, a lot of interesting things to think about going into this a double game week. Do I pull ahead? Do you pull ahead? Do we equal out? It's going to be interesting to see.
I can tell you something.
Yeah.
I'm playing my bench boost.
Okay. So there is some secrecy. All right. Well, let anyone that's watching or listening, let us know if you're playing your free hit this week or your bench boost or any other chips.
My thinking is this way I can get in some of those players that other people might be benching. Yeah. So if you're planning on benching Cole Palmer or Doku and
you
Haaland,
bench boost for Cole Palmer, you might.
I'm trying to set up my team so that my starting 11 is all doubling, but my bench may not double up, but at least they're all playing and I can get some hauls from those single game weeks from some important players.
Interesting. Very nice. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Last few things. Predictions for FA Cup.
Yeah.
Let's start with Coventry versus United. Does Coventry do an upset? Do United choke?
Nah, not against Coventry. United have been decent this season, just inconsistent is the problem.
Is there a world where Coventry can win though? Like, do you think it's 100%?
Yeah, it's 100%. United are good. And I said this after and before United got defeated against Chelsea. United are better than Chelsea. That's just plain and simple.
Yeah.
They're a little inconsistent, just like Chelsea is. But there's experience in that team. Bruno Fernandes is still a boss. Garnacho is really good. Okay? So they have, and Mount is a decent player. If he's playing and he's not injured. They have more than enough firepower to steamroll Coventry. I think Ten Hag knows what he's doing to a degree. Man United fans might not agree with me, but I do rate him as a good manager. And I hope he's there next season, not in a negative way, in a way that I think that we need to give managers another season to try and build. Yeah. So it would be nice to get like a Zidane or something in. Now
Chelsea.
I do think, Chelsea. Oh, this game is one of those games where you don't attach yourself to the outcome. Okay, you just sit back, relax, enjoy some football, and see what happens. Because City on paper should beat us. However, City also are going to be tired from Real Madrid. If Real Madrid game tonight goes into extra time, added time, I should say. If it goes into added time,
penalties,
and then penalties,
a long
and these
game.
guys are tired. And then you go 3 days later and they play Chelsea in the FA Cup.
Who will have been rested for the week, by the way.
Yeah, it is a big deal. And with Man City's eye on the Premier League, and if they even get through on the Champions League, does the FA Cup,
do they have to do another treble, do you think?
No, they don't. They just need to win a significant trophy or double. Like even winning the FA Cup and Premier League or Champions League final and FA Cup or something like that will be good enough for them.
On the other side of that, Pochettino needs to win the FA Cup to save Chelsea's season. Not to save his career, I don't think, as a Chelsea manager. I think he should stay another year. Look, he's got some questionable tactics.
Not an entire year. He can stay for another
6 months.
He can stay a couple of weeks into the next season and
here we see.
And see if he actually fixes the things that are broken We can't go into next season and go up and down the first 10 game weeks. If we get to Christmas next season and we're sitting in 9th, 10th position, he needs to
You're out of here.
Because it hasn't worked.
I think there's a world where Chelsea can beat City, though. However, I'm not holding my breath for it. Like you say, I think there's wisdom in that statement for you to say, just watch football and enjoy football and see what happens. And if they win, celebrate and rub it in City's face.
I think it's not often that Chelsea sit in this position where they are like, the season doesn't matter. It's a building, growing season. It's not going to happen often.
No.
After this season, is there going to be a real expectation next season to actually
qualify for Europe.
Something.
Yeah.
Qualify for Champions League. We're back. There's no more. We are growing. Trust the process. Now we're in the process now.
Yeah, the process was last season.
and even people like Arteta gets Champions League final again, FA Cup final against Chelsea against Lampard and beats it, wins, buys him the time he needs, and a little bit of he gave us one thing, let's give him time, and now he's fighting at the top. So we got to get there.
Yeah,
we got to, and so yes, it's an important game for Chelsea, but that's actually counts against us. Playing against City, brilliant. Chelsea turn up. Cole Palmer against his old team, brilliant. He turns up. But the pressure of playing in a game which means more to us than them, that might be too much for the young players. So just sit back, relax, watch a game, hope for some good goals, hope for some entertainment, and let's see if we can, sneak. And we're the underdog. Strangely enough, we're the underdog. Yeah.
And so is United against Coventry now. Just kidding. But on that note, we've run into added time. Hopefully, the match tonight goes into added time, so City can be tied. But thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like, share it with your friends. Let us know your teams for the week. Let us know your captains and choices. You can all DM me and thank me for Cole Palmer captain, those of you that did listen. And I will continue to hang my head in shame for not listening to myself. Mike, anything from you?
No, I'm ready for this double game week with my bench boost, and I hope that I can pull ahead of you somehow. So we'll see.
May the odds be ever in your favor. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next week.